Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to run through some more questions related to the drops because y'all ask a lot of questions. If you missed the news, the drops have started. A test was conducted, it worked, it went well. More drops are planned, planes are being loaded and scheduled. Everything seems to be going the right direction, which makes a lot of these questions, let's just say, even more annoying to me personally, because most of them are just a lot of gymnastics trying to justify not feeding people. But I do think they're worth going through, so we will. Just forgive me if I get a little snarky with some of these. Okay, so starting off, why are we doing this? We didn't drop food into Berlin. I mean, are you sure about that? I get it, though. I get it. You're not talking about the Berlin airlift. You are talking about, you're actually talking about during World War II, you know, that conflict in the 1940s. That was an entirely different kind of conflict in which the U.S. was an active participant and combatant in during a period in time where the U.S. engaged in a whole bunch of things that today would be crimes. Yeah, things were done differently back then in the completely different kind of conflict in a completely different time. Yeah. Okay, here's the thing. This type of conflict, if you do not think it is a good idea to feed the civilian populace, none of your other opinions about it matter. Not to put too fine a point on it. That is 101 level stuff right there. So it's, yes, to answer your question, why are we doing this? Because it's not World War II. And because in this type of conflict, one of the key things is to eliminate desperation in the civilian populace so they don't become combatants. Also, people are starving. And today we view it as a good thing to feed people. Okay. Biden is only doing this to win an election in Michigan, an obvious reference to the uncommitted voters. This is a talking point coming out of the right. You have even seen Republican politicians say this publicly. Yes. I mean, no, it's not only happening because of that. I would say it's influenced by it. I would say that it's influenced by it. But the fact that this is a criticism is pretty telling. Quick reminder, the United States is a republic that is a representative democracy. Republican politicians are not actually supposed to be your rulers. They're supposed to represent. If a whole bunch of people, let's say 100,000, decided to make a statement, it should alter policy. The politician should represent and try to do that. That's their job. They're not actually supposed to be your rulers. You're not supposed to do whatever they're told or whatever you're told by them. That's how it's supposed to work. This was directed to me personally. Did you not give any thought to the sadistic joke the U.S. is playing? Most of those meals, meaning MREs, are pork. Muslims can't eat them. Those boxes will sit in the corner while they starve. It's a sick joke. And then it goes into a lengthy thing about how I need to learn more about other cultures because I'm an ignorant redneck. They can eat them. The pork MRE meals, they can eat them. And that's not me being apathetic to their religious beliefs. It's that their religious beliefs include kind of exceptions for this exact kind of situation. A lot of things that are prohibited, they aren't in certain situations. If you are starving, you can totally eat pork. It's okay. I mean, I don't know. I'm just ignorant hillbilly and all that stuff, but I'm fairly certain that's how it works. And maybe you could read a book about another culture and find out for me. The other thing to note is My guess is in the early drops, there's going to be a lot of mix with a lot of MREs in it, but eventually they'll be getting something called an HDR, which is like a humanitarian daily ration. Maybe that's what it is. That would be a good acronym for it if that's not actually what the acronym means. But it's like an MRE, but I actually think they're vegetarian, or either way, they are in line with the various religious beliefs. So, again, it will be okay. Okay, this is normally tied with something about money and how much it's going to cost. And they need to train dropping bombs, not food, they being the U.S. Air Force. I disagree. I happen to like food, not bombs instead. But here we are. They need to train dropping bombs. Okay. Yeah, this is going to get expensive. It will. But the idea that this isn't what the Air Force is supposed to do, that's wrong. It's just flat wrong. I know that most of y'all loved World War II, so it's been a thing since then, and it was used recently during Iraq to get supplies into a city. Airdropping supplies is a thing. Most of the right wing, you're convinced we're going to war with China any day now. How exactly do you think supplies are going to get to that island quickly? So they can totally use this as training. The UN said it was impossible to do this by air. No, they didn't. They didn't say it was impossible. They said it was inefficient, and they're right, especially when you're talking about an aid group. Inefficient meaning cost prohibitive? Yeah, it's incredibly inefficient. Not for the U.S. Air Force, though, because it's not cost prohibitive for them. Let them use that bloated budget for something good. It's not impossible. It's just expensive. There are better ways to do it, like truck or by sea, but it can be done this way. And for those who asked questions about doing it by sea, yeah, it is complicated. It's not simple. Because for those that don't know, it's not like the boat can just pull up and offload. There's more steps to it. It would go from big boat to little boat to shore. There's a whole lot to it. But it could do more faster that way. Okay. How are they going to do this for 2.3 million people? They're not. I mean, they could, but that's not what's going to happen. Okay, 2.3 million is the entire population of Gaza, according to the UN, 1/4 of which are facing starvation. That's 600,000. The test dropped 40,000 mils. It can totally be done. My guess is that there's going to be a combination of things, and I feel as though some pressure might be mounting as far as humanitarian aid on the ground as well. Make no mistake about it, if it was 2.3 million, it could actually still be done. It would be much harder. It would be a huge undertaking. The British would definitely have to be getting involved. And to be clear, there are other countries involved in this. The real issue that they're going to run into, it's going to be pilot fatigue after a while. That's going to be the real concern. So other countries may have to chip in with pilots. So those are the questions. It can be scaled to get to the size it needs to be. It can be done. It's not an evil trick to give them MREs. Those are probably just the closest. Those were the easiest to get their hands on, ready to go. There are other mills that would eventually be used, or maybe they're being used now. There's a whole bunch of benefits to the Air Force doing this. Yes, I am sure that uncommitted influenced this decision. And Yeah, that's about it. The other thing is this a token? Is it face saving? Is it, is it something that isn't going to matter? We don't know yet. It doesn't look like it. Based on the rumor mill, it doesn't look like it. But we're not going to know that yet. We have to see the scale. For those who don't get the question, there is a concern from a lot of people that this is going to be like 2 drops or whatever, and then it's just going to stop. And it's just a way to kind of put a happy face on things. Based on the rumor mill, I don't think that's what this is. That being said, I will hold that judgment until I see how many drops are going to be happening. This is something that should be universally supported. It doesn't matter which side you're on. It doesn't matter what political party you belong to. It doesn't matter what your ideology is. It doesn't matter what your religion is. There is no reason to oppose this. There are no negative foreign policy implications to it. This is one of those things that's just good all the way across the board. I hope that that's understood, and I hope that it continues and is at a sustained level. But the concern is that it's just face saving, that it's a one-time stunt or something like that. From what I understand, it's not. The rumor mill says that it's not, that they are underway, already planning more and bigger, and that it's going to continue until it's no longer needed. If that's the case, it's good. If it's just a stunt, I will be the first one to very publicly take issue with it. There are a lot of things that, due to the foreign policy constraints, I understand it. I don't like it, but I understand it. There is no foreign policy constraint here. There is no downside to this. This is good all the way through. So it should continue. It shouldn't just be a one-time thing. And it doesn't look like it is. But I'm also going to wait and see. If it does turn into that, yeah, it's going to bother me a lot. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.